Welcome to Christal Clear, episode 9. I want to be crystal clear about sexual assault today. Normally, my videos are very funny or goofy. There's nothing funny about sexual assault. The saddest part, of my opinion, is that it happens so often, and so many women and young girls are too afraid to admit what happened, or they blame themselves, or they think that too much time has gone on. We come up with all of these different excuses about what happened, why it happened, and why we shouldn't say anything. And I think it's really important for me to talk about this. So I was in this relationship several years ago, and I was sexually active. It's a decision that I made. It's not something that I'm proud of or something that I promote as a Christian. I believe that sex should be preserved for marriage for good reason. It safeguards you from situations like this in a lot of cases. There's an element of trust. There's an element of safety that is not present when you aren't protected by marriage. But that's a whole different conversation in and of itself. And if you're interested in talking about it with me, feel free to reach out. But anyway, I was dating this guy, and we had been sexually active a few times. And I always felt bad about it. He did too, I think, sometimes. But because he had an addiction to pornography at the time, he was really aggressive and rough with me. And I remember several times that I was trying to turn over a new leaf and not have sex, and he would kind of fight my resistance, and he would pull at me. And even though I had done it before, there were times where I explicitly asked him to stop, where I was close to tears, where I was talking about how much it hurt and how much I wanted to stop, and he kept going. And afterward, he would apologize for not listening to me, and I didn't do anything about it. I might have been mad for, a couple hours, but then I would just let it go, so to speak. I didn't realize what it was until several months later. I remember after I had broken up with him, I was sitting at my desk at work, and I was just like, that was assault. Like, if I say, you're hurting me, and he says, then stop resisting, that is assault, and it's not okay. Rape is not defined as just someone, male or female, forcing themselves on another person and having sex. Rape or sexual assault means that there is no consent, and consent does not mean that, once you agree to it, then that's just it. Someone can agree to have sex and then, change their minds, or things can get out of hand or uncomfortable and the person wants to stop, and the consent that they gave before is no longer valid. It also falls into that category if someone is under the influence of drugs or alcohol and they're not making clear decisions. If they give consent but they're not in the proper state of mind, that consent is not valid. And so what I experienced was sexual assault. I resisted, and I verbally asked the guy to stop forcing himself on me, and he kept going. I want people, men and women who have been in this situation or similar situations, to know that you are not alone, and that you are well able to identify and address what's been going on or what went on. It's not too late. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you a weaker person. It makes you a stronger person to acknowledge what happened or what is happening. I want to encourage you to seek help, not just going to the police or making a report, but seek counsel, seek therapy, because those kind of things can have lasting effects on you, on your relationships. If you get married, it can have lasting effects on your marriage. And it's important to address those things and not cover them up. We have to get healed. We have to be made whole. And it starts with admitting what happened. It starts with understanding and acknowledging that it was not okay. It starts with forgiving yourself. And it also leads you to the path of being able to forgive your offender. Does that mean that you justify what the offender did? No. It just means that you let go of all of the anger and the hurt and the pain that you carry around for the offense that was done. Here's what I've learned about sexual assault from a personal standpoint. Number one, it is never okay. It is never justifiable. It is never excused. Number two, even though I had sex with my offender before he assaulted me, it does not make it okay for him to assault me. It does not make it okay to assume that I want what was done to me. Number three, pornography is dangerous. It objectifies women in particular, but people, making them objects rather than human beings. Porn stars are actors who act and do things that the average person can't do. And it makes sex just an activity rather than an exchange of love between what I believe should be husband and wife. And so in my dealings with a man who had an addiction to pornography, I was treated like an object. And it was painful physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, in every way. And I have come to a place where I can forgive him because I know that he didn't intend to hurt me personally. It's not about pleasure. It's not about intentionally hurting me in my case. I know it had a lot to do with his addiction. And I also know that assault is more so about power. And when you deal with a person that has insecurities, they seek opportunities for power to make themselves feel better. And I believe that that's what happened in my case. My offender had a lot of insecurities, and I saw it play out in his life, with his family, with the people around him, with the way that he felt about himself. He was very insecure, and it caused him to be abusive, not only physically or sexually, but also mentally and verbally abusive. So again, I'm sharing this because I want people to learn from my mistakes. Value yourself. Take time, if you've been through assault, to seek help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. Value yourself enough to seek help, to get wise counsel, to go to a counselor, see a therapist. It helps. Also, I encourage you to be mindful of the people you allow to be close to you. Do your homework. Don't just take their words for things. Pay attention. People show you who they are. A lot of times they tell you to, but they'll show you. Their friends will show you. Their family will show you. Pay attention. And above all things, seek wisdom, because wisdom will really help keep you out of dangerous situations. It doesn't mean that danger won't come, but it certainly does protect you. I'm fortunate enough to not have had a worse situation. I'm really grateful, and I'm grateful that I've been able to come to a place to be able to talk about it, to be able to forgive my offender, and to be able to make sound decisions going forward. Let me be crystal clear. Sexual assault is never okay. It happens way too often, and it should be addressed. However, it is not the end of your story.